You know, I never was a person that liked people who gatekeep information. I want to give as much information out as possible to the people who are willing to listen, and then they can just take that and spread it. And then when they take that and spread it, now everybody's at a higher level. Let's Talk Assets, Episode 4. My name is Chris A. Williams, one of your hosts. I'm joined by my co-host,
Giovonni Paradis.
Yes, sir. We appreciate everybody who's watched us so far, who's tuned into our episodes. Make sure if you guys haven't watched our previous episodes, you go watch them now. You can also listen to them on your favorite streaming platforms. But let's get this episode kicked off. Gio, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. You know, we got this last episode where kicking off before we bring on guests, and this is going to be the last episode where you just hear me and Chris talking. We're going to be bringing in some really special guests for you. So super excited about that. Just going to give you a little bit more value before that is kicked off, and pretty much looking forward to that.
Yes, sir. But today we're going to vibe out. So, Gio, tell me about what you got going on. Any big things planned?
Yeah, man, I'm actually getting to escape to Miami, going there on business, man, for a few days. So I haven't been there in a long time.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that. Excited about being in the warm weather and meeting some great people, man.
Yeah, facts. Okay, so business or fun?
Business, man. Strictly business, man. I'm flying in. I got meetings on meetings, and then for the first few days, and then getting to go to a conference. I'm going to be kind of set up, have a little booth there, kind of talk about what I do and what I'm doing with the Kemis Group and what we're doing with the app FlipStack and how we're helping people get into real estate investing. So I have it's a world-class closers conference. Daniel G., Albert Percedo, a lot of big names in the industry. Not just only get to expose my brand, my platform, some of the things I'm doing that's helping people grow their wealth through investing in real estate, but also being around some really high-level people, meeting them, interacting with them, networking with them, kind of picking up some new techniques, constantly improving. I got professional sales training, been in sales for over a decade, and, just, again, constantly trying to sharpen and iron those skills out because, learning is a never-ending journey. You always got to be learning. You always got to be growing in your business because business is war. You got to be constantly sharpening your skills in order to compete at a very high level.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm not going to lie, you're a lot better than me. Because if I'm going to Miami, I'm going there for fun. I've been working hard a lot lately. So if I'm going on a vacation, I got to decompress.
Hey, look, I'm staying out in the Fontainebleau, man. Invitation's open, man. So, I used to be in nightlife. I've been to Miami my fair share of times, live on a Sunday, Club 11. I kind of did the whole, the tour, right? And then I got a couple of friends in there in the club industry, man. But, now that I got older, definitely, settled down a little bit. I want to make sure I stick to the objective. The objective in there is growth and making sure I'm networking, expanding that network and kind of growing some relationships down there. I'm going to meet with some high-level people. I have a friend back home that kind of blew up down there, and he owns an exotic car rental business. He's doing his thing.
Shout him out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's Brandon Condi. 5 years ago, he was just a regular guy from around the way. Guy's blown up, Amazon, automation, all kinds of things, marketing company. He's doing his thing with the exotic car rental business, and he's kind of one of the guys that when I got out, I reached out to, I saw how much he blew up on Instagram and blew up his platform and how he kind of went all in. And, we had like a FaceTime call for like about an hour, and he was just kind of telling me, mindset stuff and kind of vision stuff of what he had to do to get where he was at and how he kind of grew. And that was real helpful with me. And, one of the things you got to be all in. You got to quit your job. You got a dream. You got a, entrepreneurship goal that you want to pursue. You got to quit your job. You got to go all in.
Yeah.
There ain't no quit, no looking back. There is no plan B. Straight up go all in. And that advice, kind of, that mentality is what I went for, full steam ahead. And, that's what got to it, man. Started my company.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing I really like about places like Miami or just traveling anywhere in general, because you get around that good energy. I remember last time I was in Miami, man, I seen Rolls Royces, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, it's just everybody there is having some type of motion, and when you talk to these people too, they're like, just asking them like, what do you do? Things like that. They're like, oh, I own this 8-figure company. Oh, I do this, I do that, right? And these aren't people that are necessarily like the flashiest. I'm just talking about you walk up to a random person, everybody's having some type of motion. So there's things that I love to see, and you gain that knowledge, that experience when you're traveling, going to other places. Because sometimes if you just stay in your hometown, you can kind of get in a rut, especially if you're an industry leader. You're like, hey, I've kind of made it in my city, but you cap yourself versus you go to this another city, and you're like, oh, this person's doing that. Oh, I'm not really doing nothing where I'm doing. And it just further turns you up.
Absolutely, 100%. A lot of people, from what I've seen, just being from here and in life in general, is people like to be a really big fish in a small pond.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather be a decent-sized fish in a big pond, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what going to Miami, it's humbling, right?
Mm-hmm.
The money's on a different level there. The opportunity's on a different level there. A lot of industry has moved down that way. A lot of the financial sector has moved down. There's a lot of money in Miami, celebrities, all kinds of different things, right?
Yeah.
So going down there puts you in that environment, that atmosphere of growth, and you're around people that are on a higher level, that next level to you.
Yep.
And to me, that's something that's always been essential and key to my growth in business and entrepreneurship, is being around people that are at a higher level than me. And people that can break down things. And you take those opportunities, if you're around these successful people, even if they're Instagram famous or famous for real in real life, a lot of people, hey, let me just flick it up with them. You need to be asking these people questions. Yeah. Hey, what's the biggest mistake you made in business? Or what's one thing that you wish you would have known 10 years ago that you know now that would have changed your life and changed the trajectory of your business? And you'd ask them these questions. I'm telling you, they're going to welcome it. They love those type of questions. Like, wow, because they don't expect that. Most people, hey, man, they need a picture, man. What's up? They're all kind of, hey, now ask them a question, and you're going to ask them a high-level question, you'll get a high-level response.
Yeah.
And so, you have to take those opportunities when you're around those people and you get yourself inside those rooms to position yourself as someone, hey, I'm in here to learn, I'm here to be a sponge, and I'm here to grow.
Yeah.
And those are the type of people that, when you're at a higher level, you want to be around. And I know for me, I have people that look up to me, which is very humbling, because like I said, I feel like I'm just getting started. But, I love people that ask questions, that want to understand at a deeper level, at a higher level, that really intrigues me. It makes me like, wow, I love that curiosity and how someone is inquisitive and their hunger. That makes me want to pour into them more.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree 100% with that. And that kind of is like leading into the adage that your network is your net worth.
Yeah. The social currency, man.
Exactly.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. A lot of people ask me, is like, man, how did you do what you did, without a lot of money or, I value relationship and people over profits. You don't sacrifice a relationship for a buck. You really need to secure, develop, and nurture meaningful relationships in life and in business, because those people, as you climb, those people that you help out are the people that you are under. As long as you secure that relationship, nurture that relationship, no matter what happens to you in life, they're going to be there on the other side.
Yep.
I'm a testament of that. I've kept really good relationships, and I went through my storm. On the other side, there was people there that knew my value, they knew my talent, they knew my capabilities, and they knew I just made a mistake.
Yeah.
So again, your social currency, that's something that, again, is what's going to propel you in business more than money.
Yeah.
You got all the money in the world, but if you don't know the right people, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to lose money. The shortcut is surrounding yourself by people that have already walked down that path. And you have to surround yourself that people have already forged the pathway to success. They've been through the ups and downs, the emotional roller coaster of being an entrepreneur. They've been through wins and losses. So you got to surround yourself by those people that tell you how to navigate it. They'll show you how to the shortcut where you're not taking losses.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's not about, everyone thinks about quit. Everyone wants success, right? They think about speed. And then there's an interview that Rick Ross did that's out there on the internet. Says, I don't want to move fast or move correct. And that really resonated with me about moving correctly and taking the right steps, because slow and for show, because fast don't last. That's one of the best sayings ever. And slow and for show, because fast don't last. I think Pitbull said that, if I'm not mistaken, out of all people, right?
Miami.
Yeah, Miami, baby. And Rick Ross as well, right? So, and I didn't even mean to bring them up. This is coincidence, right? So that principle is, by moving correctly, taking methodical steps, chess over checkers. Everything's a chess move the way you move in business. And that's kind of what's going to propel you.
Yeah, 100%. And just like you said, you're going to put people first over profits, because your relationship is really what's going to matter. A lot of people get small-minded. They're like, all right, I'm just worried about this specific transaction or this specific deal or whatever this is, and that's the temporary. You got to think, all right, what about long-term? What's going to happen long-term? If I burn this relationship, if I burn this bridge now, how is this going to hurt me in 5 years, 10 years and such? Because what's going to happen is the players are going to be the players, The people at the top, like they say, is lonely at the top. There's not that many people at the top. But if you burn that relationship with a player, you better think, okay, 5 years, 10 years, or even 6 months, you're going to run into that person again. If you burn that relationship, that's going to hinder your business tremendously. Versus if you would have done things right from the start, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But that's something I've been seeing a lot, unfortunately, is, it seems like now people don't really have any morals. I don't know if that's like social media or what's kind of led to that, but people don't really have morals. People don't really have principles that they live by. At least kind of how I was taught growing up is you got to be a man of your word. You got to keep your word. Your reputation is what precedes you. It can take years to build up a reputation, take 5 minutes to destroy it. So you got to make sure that you take care of your reputation. And by doing people dirty, you can't just keep on doing people dirty and expect nothing bad to happen to you. It's going to come back on you. And think, if you built up a business, you got employees under your business, you got people who depend on you. Now your bad acts are going to fall on them and hurt their livelihood. Think what we're seeing today with Diddy.
Wow, that's crazy, man. Yeah, feds just raided both of his house.
Exactly. His kids getting detained, all like that. Versus courses that he did. If he would have been an upstanding person, kept his reputation intact, that would have happened.
All these guys are falling down in what's world.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know who they pissed off, man. All these guys are falling like dominoes, man.
They didn't pay their Illuminati bill.
Oh, man. But yeah, one of the things you said, just to kind of circle back about entrepreneurship and lessons, right?
Yeah.
And you said that, one of the most valuable lessons I learned as an entrepreneur is that competition happens at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
That people at the top are collaborating. That's why these people are getting, their wealth is compounding at a rate exponentially that, you cannot keep up with. And the people at the bottom are trying to find a way, hey, I don't care. I'll screw you over, Chris, for $5,000. Rather than, hey, no, let me do right by you. And, we both ascend together. And then now at the top, once we both have ascended to a next level, we're both collaborating and both able to bring new ideas and new collective, synergy into growing our businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one thing that is so important. One of the biggest lessons I learned is that when you get around high-level people, they're not over here like, oh, man, they're not paying pension. They're not worried about a couple hundred, a couple thousand. It's immaterial. I mean, the relationship's what's important, and expanding and growing that relationship long-term. That's how these people are acquired wealth.
Yeah.
Just think about it. All these wealthy people, what do? They have a business, right? That business needs a service and or product. They're going to call their other wealthy friend.
Yeah.
Hey, you have a service or product. Let me use your business.
Yep.
And they're, piggybacking off each other. They're growing together. Both of their companies are scaling.
Yep. It's because they can't do everything themselves. And that's one thing I need all my entrepreneurs to know. You can't do everything yourself. I know, it can feel good at first to get 100% of your profit, but think, you get 100% of your profit, you also have 100% of the expenses.
Yeah.
So
And 100% of the stress.
100% of the stress, more like 150% of the stress. You know how stressful it is starting a business and running it all yourself. So you have to think, you do have to outsource. You do have to put other people in position, build systems in place so you're able to step away. Just like we talked about in episode 1, not having to work in the business, being able to step away and kind of work outside the business.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, the principle of the adage goes is you can have growth and you can have control, but you can't have both in business.
Mm.
You can have growth or you can have control, but you cannot have both.
Yeah.
So in order for you to grow, you have to be able to delegate. You have to be able to put people in positions of power, and you have to be able to trust them to handle that task or that part of the business and, to really drive their lane and stay in their lane, grow that part of their department or whatever position you put them in.
Yeah.
And, you have to go get, like you said, work on the business rather than in the business.
Yeah.
Because if you were in the business, you're not an entrepreneur. You just started a business to have a job.
Yeah.
It's not a business. If you cannot leave that place of business and that it's still functioning and still generate you revenue, you do not have a business. You have a job.
Yeah.
You're just your own boss.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You're your own boss and you're your own worker at the same time. So that's and there's a book called The E-Myth, Why Most Small Businesses Fail. It's by Michael E. Gerber. It was given to me by one of my mentors. One of the most powerful books in business that you can read. Is so simple, but it really talks about working on the business rather than the business and those principles. And that book really personifies that adage, that saying.
Yeah, I agree. And also, before we even go to another thing, I do have to say, when I was talking about Diddy, that is allegedly. I haven't done any research as far as allegedly. Exactly, allegedly. I don't want any lawsuits. I don't want no smoke with a road, no nothing. Just allegedly. Yeah. So let's talk about the last episode, Gio.
Yes, sir.
I know that was tough for you, speaking on your experience, letting people know some of the side they don't really know about you. Like I said in the intro for that episode, a lot of people see the results of your hard work, but they don't necessarily know what led to that point. So how do you feel truly about releasing that episode?
I mean, it was tough for me. Everyone that I do business with on a high level or a deep personal level already knows my story. I'm very transparent. Not long after we hooked up, I told you my background to a certain extent as we were, entering this journey together and embarking, 2 years ago. Just because, I'm not ashamed of it, bro. We made mistakes, but to release it out to the world, and it's not just so much the part of me losing my freedom, being incarcerated. That's one thing. The other part is just, reliving some of my family life. That was tough, and I've already, you as a man, you got to come to terms of the life you live. And I feel like, man, my life wasn't as hard as others, right? Yeah, it was harder than others, man, but people had it way worse than me.
Yeah.
And so I still look at my life as it is. I live in the present. I try not to live at all in the past. I try not to live too far in the future because that's how you get anxiety. And, if you live too far in the past, that's how you get regret. And I try to stay present in my situation. I try to appreciate what I have in life and what I don't have. Because if you're always constantly looking at what's wrong with your life or what's missing, you're always going to be either in a state of depression or feeling, less than, or just be stressed out and down.
Yeah.
I just look at what's right in our life, the blessings I do have. And that's kind of what keeps me going. But overall, I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. The main goal of me releasing my story is just hopefully someone can hear that and they may be at rock bottom or they may be going through times in their life or they may have a similar upbringing or they may have been through similar things that I have. And I may be an example or a reason why I look what happens if you don't give up.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, man, well, what if? Well, what if you don't quit? What if you chase your dreams? What if you go all in? What can happen? And I hope someone hears my story and feels that way and has confidence and believes in themselves. So I appreciate everybody who was a part of encouraging me to share my story because I feel the feedback has been great. Some people have been inspired and thank me for sharing and, again, for the people.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of positive feedback about that also.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's what we try to do on Let's Talk Assets podcast, is really just be transparent and give people the real truth. Because you see like these little TikTok videos, Instagram reels of like people doing all these things, you know, but it's kind of like a wall behind it. You don't really figure out who is this person, how they get here. So that's what we're really here for, is to tell the truth about, you know, not just show you the results, but also showing you how we got here to this point. So, I mean, everybody at Let's Talk Assets, we definitely appreciate you, Gio, for sharing your story.
Nah, no doubt, 100%, you know. One thing that I think we didn't get into with you, and I know, you know, your entrepreneur journey, you may feel has just started, but you've been at this for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned? Well, so far. We all have lessons we still got to learn, right?
Uh-huh.
You know.
The biggest lesson I've learned so many lessons in my entrepreneur journey, but the biggest lesson I would say I've learned is everything's your fault.
I love that.
You really just have to take accountability for literally everything. No matter what happened, it's on you to find a solution to fix a problem. You can't go complaining and be like, oh, this happened to me and that happened to me, somebody else's fault, or somebody didn't do something. No, you got to take accountability, because it's your life, it's your job, it's your situation, your career, your business. So you need to find a solution for that. The longer you stay like blaming other people, not taking accountability, is the longer that problem is still going to exist. So why wait for that problem? You know, why let that problem fester when you could just take it head on, get rid of that problem by taking care of accountability yourself? So that's really the biggest lesson I've learned. And I would say applying that principle has really helped me in my business, helped accelerate my journey. Because, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't wait for nobody.
I like that. Time waits for nobody.
Yeah, time waits for nobody. Exactly. I had a certain criteria, certain goals that I need to meet. So if it's not done, you know, of course I hire people out to do things, outsource and such. But if it's not done, then at the end of the day, it's Chris Williams' business. So Chris Williams has to make sure that it's done. So whether that's hire somebody else, bringing somebody else in, or even if I have to do it myself, we're going to make sure the job gets done. And I don't make excuses whatsoever. I tell that to anybody in my companies. You know, we don't make excuses. We take accountability for whatever's wrong, and we're solution makers at the end of the day. We have to find a solution for everything.
I love that. Embrace the solution. Never focus on the problem.
Yeah.
That's all. That's my mindset.
When
I'm only embracing the solution. If don't talk to me about the problem.
Yeah.
Tell me how we move forward. Tell me how we get better. Tell me how we improve. Tell me how we fix what's broken in our systems and processes. How do we grow? How do we scale? How do we get to the money? That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
After you've already identified the problem, boom, let's talk about the solution.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, you're going to bring something up to me. You're going to tell me what's wrong. That's fine. I'm 100% okay with that. But what follows better be how we get better, how we fix it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But switching gears a bit, we did get a fan question on YouTube.
Okay.
So I do want to answer this next question first, because this is a loyal listener of ours who's been supporting the pod. So I want to definitely make sure we answer his question.
Absolutely, man.
So YouTube user Tay2Nice885, he said, great episode, love the story. Could you guys give details and your opinion about dealing with debt? How you, and I guess this is the second question, how you guys manage and put perspective into buying your second and third properties? So do you want to start with that first question? Giving details.
You'll need it now.
Yeah, deal with that.
I learned a valuable lesson when I worked in timeshare. They gave us a lot of financial education, surprisingly, which I loved about it, right? There's only two ways to get ahead of life. You have to make more than you earn or spend less than you earn. Or excuse me. There's only two ways to make it in life. You have to make more than you spend or spend less than you earn. And those are the only two ways to get ahead of life. Because that's how debt piles up, is when you're living outside your means. If you've already built up debt, right, which I did. I've been through this in life, so it's a really good question. I was 21, 22 at the time. I remember I was selling cars. I make about $60K a year. Again, I was fresh out from doing my first prison stint. I had a $1,000 credit card, I think, from a local community bank. I moved back. I started making good money. I went to Navy Federal. And Navy Federal was like, hey, you can get a credit card for $7,000. This is so funny. This is not even correlated. We didn't plan this. Again, this is all unscripted, guys. My friend woke me up on Sunday. Hey, man, wake up. I'm like, what's up, bro? He's like, look, I already booked us a flight. We're leaving to Miami. This is my first time ever going to Miami. Yeah. 22 years old. He's like, man, booked the flight. Booked the hotel. I've already paid for the flight so that we're staying at the Fontainebleau. Yeah. I'm 22 years old. I'm making $60K. I don't got much bills. I feel like I'm a big baller, but yeah, whatever, man. Put it on my card. Little, I know the room was like $700 a night back. Ooh, yeah, bro. I was back. And this is back, 11, 12 years ago. And so, yeah, I had $700 a night. I booked it for 2 nights plus tax. I'm already $2,000 in. I haven't landed. Then we land. This is on a Sunday night, bro. It's like 11 when we landed. And we get to the hotel, check-in. It's midnight. I'm like, man, we gotta hurry up and get ready. Like, bro, it's Miami chill. We go to live on Sunday. So we got bottle service. So it was like, and we were in the promoter section. My buddy knew the promoter that I went with. We had to pop a bottle. We popped like 2 or 3 bottle tabs, like $4,000.
You said, what year was this again?
2012, 13.
Oh, so you were in Miami when Miami was Miami. Like, well,
yeah. Yep. So LeBron was there. Dwayne Wade was there my very first time. Lil Wayne, Birdman, Meek Mill. This was when Dreams and Nightmares came out. So they're all there at Live on Sunday. Yeah, I had my first big club experience in my life. It was kind of overwhelming, right? But look, long story short, I racked up. My credit card was maxed out. By the time I got I got the credit card like 2 weeks before, like less than a month later, 30 days later, my credit card was maxed out. $7,000, right?
Wow.
And I didn't really understand. This is before timeshare. I really didn't understand credit and so I was making the payment every month and
interest.
Yeah, interest. I didn't fully understand how. I'm sitting there. I'm like, why is my balance not going down? So how to manage and deal with debt is if you have credit card debt, you cannot make minimum interest payment and you're never going to eat away. So you got to make large chunk payments. You need to be paying on it every week. So whatever you would pay a month, I'd recommend turning that to a weekly goal.
Yeah.
That's how you eat it 4 times faster. Again, you got to sacrifice in order to get out of debt. And, I was able to, when I got into timeshare, I had that credit card debt. I was able to pay it off very quickly because I prioritized it.
Yeah.
And so you got to sit down. You got to write down all your expenses, right? Everything that you spend money on. You can look at your credit card statement, your debit card, your bills, everything that you're spending money on a monthly basis. And you divide the column into what's necessities and what are luxuries.
Yeah.
Okay. Food, that's a necessity, right? Going out to eat, that's a luxury. And so you got to prioritize what things on this luxury side can you sacrifice and take that to pay down your debt. And because, you're going to be a slave to the debt, bro. They're in debt. You're enslaved to that. It's going to limit you. You got to have good credit. You got to have a low debt to income ratio in order to invest in real estate, to qualify for business loans. Your credit profile is everything, man. So you got to manage and mitigate your debt.
Yeah.
And if you haven't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you need to go read it. There's such thing as good debt and there's such thing as bad debt. And you guys really got to learn the difference of that.
Yeah, I agree. 100% what you're saying with that, Gio. So, Tay Too Nice 885, let me answer your question with that. We're dealing with debt. First thing I would say is try not to get in debt. That's literally the first thing I would say. Now, I do understand inflation, everything like that, things are more expensive, so you may have to pull that credit card out. But let's say your credit card is racked up. You want to get that down as much as possible. Get that principal down, because the higher principal is, the more interest you're going to be paying on it. And with credit cards too, they usually have a high interest rate, especially if we're talking about one of your first credit cards. We're talking about 25, 30% APR interest rate, things like that. So, you're not making your payment. That's going to be, who knows, extra 100, around there, depending on what your balance is going to be. So you want to pay that principal down as quick as possible. Now you may say, okay, I have a super large balance. I'm not getting that much money yet. How do I pay it down? I would say, like Gio said, instead of making your minimum payments, put weekly amounts, like put large sums towards it. Because as I said before, you get that principal down, the lower your interest is going to be, and then you'll have more flexibility from there. Also, as Gio mentioned earlier, living below your means is going to help you out a lot. I know it can be tempting when you have a credit card especially if you get approved for a high limit and you're younger, things like that. You may say, hey, I got approved for a $20,000 limit. You don't have $20,000 to spend. That's not cash. It doesn't work like that. See what happens if you put, you spend that $20,000, you're going to be regretting it very quickly. So live below your means. How I operate with my credit cards is I like it's a debit card, to be honest with you. When we're talking about things like bad credit, as he mentioned, difference between good credit and bad credit. So if I'm using my credit towards, an investment and things like that, it's a bit different. But if we're talking about everyday purchases, clothes, things we don't necessarily need, material things, then operate like it's a debit card is what I would say. If you don't have the money to pay it off immediately, don't use it for it. Now, one of the good things about credit cards, is the points. Like you say, you're about to go to Miami right now, Gio, probably using some points. Oh, exactly. I mean, you can rack up some points, and the points will be able to go towards your travel, shopping, food, all things like that, and it'll give you a good a discount on it. So just make sure you're being wise is what I would say when it comes to credit. And if you already have a lot of credit, a lot of debt piled up, try to get that down ASAP.
Yeah, the biggest lesson that you just said, and that I want everyone to take away if they did not catch what you said, as you come up in life and as you're making money, you have to keep your lifestyle the same.
Yep.
A lot of people, once they start making money, right, they start making a higher level of income. They either get a promotion at work, they start a business, they reach a new milestone in business. Heck, I'm going to get a new car, and I'm going to get a bigger house. I'm going to get, the designer, whatever. You have to understand to keep your lifestyle at a certain base level. Your lifestyle at that base level, and still continue to make more money. And if you keep your bills, the money going out every month the same, but you're making more money, you're going to do nothing but get ahead. You're going to be able to pay down debt at a very high rate if you're already in debt. If you're not in debt, you're going to be able to invest at a higher rate. And you got to understand the velocity of money. A lot of people don't understand that. So here you're going ahead and spending money. If you're paying $500, $600, $700, $800 to a credit card, if you go invest and compound that money in a year, how much would that be in a year, right? And so you guys got to really understand that the velocity of money and the way to use that is by keeping your lifestyle the same, taking the surplus of income, investing it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, I'm a testament to that, just living way below your means. Like you saw me, I got a new car last year, but before I was driving an '04 Lexus, this was in 2022, so it's like a $3,500 car, had like around 300K miles on it. The Kool-Aid was leaking, so I'm talking about I had to pull over on the side of the road like every 15 minutes, put some Kool-Aid in there.
No, I remember when I rode in your car, bro, I just looked at you. I was like, Chris, bro, you made like 5 figures last month, bro. I understand about being humble, bro, but you on the fritz, bro. You about to be calling AAA. Yeah, you don't got to be this humble. This is too modest. No, this is not safe.
No, that's not what you're saying. But, bro, my mindset with that is I wanted to live so below my means because I remember what it was like to be broke. That year when I made, $12,000 in the entire year, I'm like, bro, I never want to go back to that again. So I was able to make it through that year. So I guess I had PTSD from that. To be honest with you, I was there to spend money. I just had all of this money set in my account. I could have done, brought the brand new latest car, got the best house, done all that. But I was like, nah, bro, I'm going to keep my spending at a certain amount so I'll never have to worry about money again. Like if something happens, and this is even before I was really, into investing assets, things like that. I was just like, hey, if something happens, I know I'll be straight for, a year plus, and so on and so on.
Absolutely, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So that's the first part of that question. So let's get into the second part of this question. So the second question is, how do you guys manage and put perspective into buying your second and third properties? So Ting Too Nice first, congrats on getting your first property based off of this verbiage. I'm assuming you got your first property. So definitely congrats to that. Gio, you want to take this question first?
Yeah, absolutely. So you got congratulations again, brother, for your first property. It's a huge accomplishment. I'm assuming that he lives in the property. And so taking that as, hey, you bought a property that you live in. Now you're looking to invest in your second and your third property. Everyone has different investment metrics, right? Is what's the goal? A lot of people get to investing in real estate for cash flow. So you got to look at the cash flow. You got to look at a lot of different factors, right? You got to look at, is the property in an area that's going to appreciate, right? What type of renter are you going to get in that property? You're going to have a lot of vacancy in that property. How much cash is required to acquire that property? Because you got to look at, again, the time value of money, because there is a very time value of money that people don't understand. And that when you put your money, right, and tie it up in a property, can you use that money, again, to turn it and to flip it and compound it, right? So the money's idle. Why that money's idle, you got to look at what's called your cash on cash return. And if you guys want to get into a really more advanced metric and you guys want to study your numbers, you then can kind of go to what's called the internal rate of return on the property. That really discounts future cash flows, really gives you the time value of money, puts that in perspective. But when you're thinking about that property you're investing in, if you're putting all these factors in, how much money am I putting in? What's my cash on cash return? What's the net operating income on the property? What's the cap rate? Is this property in an area that is poised for appreciation? Am I going to get a good tenant? Am I going to have a lot of turnover? What's the condition of the property? Are you going to have to do a lot of repairs? Are you equipped to manage that property yourself? Or are you going to have to hire a property manager? Are you going to be able to field and handle repairs as they come in? Are you going to know what needs to be fixed? Or if it's really a frivolous complaint by the tenant. So before you get into investing into a property that you're going to keep as an investment and not to live in, make sure you educate yourself fully if you don't already know on those factors. And again, you can reach out to Chris or reach out to myself as well. If you have a property you're identified, or if you're looking for that investment property and you kind of just want us to break down the numbers and see if it would make sense for us and how we can break down and kind of advise you whether it would work for you or not.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with everything you said, Gio. You took the investment route, I would say, like everything that you need to be doing after you acquire the property. I'll kind of take the real estate agent route. So say 2 nights, 885. Let's talk about when you're first trying to get the property. The first thing that you want to do is decide how you're going to buy this property. Are we doing traditional? Are we doing a more creative thing? Because that's going to sort of determine your finances and your costs when purchasing the property. So let's say, for example, say that you're buying the property creatively. First thing you want to do is you want to reach out to one of your local lenders. You want to get approved for your loan. You want to get all the details from them. Now, your local lenders, I know that you had mentioned debt earlier also too. You want to get your debt to income ratio down as low as possible. The higher debt to income ratio is, that's going to affect what you get pre-approved to. And it may even make you bring a higher down payment. So get your debt to income ratio down as low as possible. So you want to take care of that. You'll figure out what your down payment is and such that you have to bring the lender. Now you want to reach out to a trusted real estate advisor. Regardless of if you're in Virginia or not, the Assets Real Estate team got some deep connections. So make sure you reach out to us first when you need a trusted real estate advisor. And then make sure your trusted real estate advisor, they have knowledge on what you're trying to do when it comes to purchasing the second or third property. Like, what is your goal? What is your exit strategy? And so on and so on. They should be able to speak to you about what you're trying to do, be able to give you solid advice for that. So once you have that, then you'll begin the process of purchasing the property and they'll be able to guide you from there. So that's what I would really say, is make sure you speak to trusted people, I would say, would be my biggest takeaway from that. How do I answer to your question?
Yeah, I would love to expound on that. I'm going to give you guys $1 million lesson, right now, how to become a millionaire in 10 years, foolproof plan. One of the most valuable lessons I was first taught when I got into real estate. And this goes along with this user's question. It's his first property already. And so you got 3 ways usually a property or your equity increases over time. So he already lives in his property. There's 3 factors. So you got inflation, right? Things, a loaf of bread costs a lot more today than it did in 1999, right? And then you got appreciation. You got appreciation through just natural progression of a neighborhood, or you have forced appreciation, meaning he did repairs to the property. And then you have amortization or debt paid out on the loan. And so he's living in the property, the debt is being paid down, and the house is going up in value. So that equity, which is in the middle of this air, is growing. The debt's being paid down and the equity is growing. So now that equity, right, is a tangible asset that goes to his net worth. So now when this gentleman buys his second property, let's say he just waits 2 years, this first property could be $250,000, right? He has $100K in equity. Now he goes, puts money down that he saved up from whatever his 9 to 5 or his business is. He goes and buys the second property, right? He's already got $100K over here, and now he went and bought this property. And now this property, let's say it's $350,000, and he already has instant equity because he has a trusted real estate advisor from the asset seat. He's buying at an equitable position. Yep. And now you repeat and rinse and repeat this process over the next 2 years. But the key here, I want to give you guys a little wealth hack, is he's using his own cash, right? But he has access in this first property. So let's say year 4 or year 5, he's got $150,000, $200,000 in equity. Remember, he's now moved out of that first property. He's got a renter paying his debt down while the house is appreciating. So that equity is continuing to grow. So if he sells that house and taps into that $150,000 in equity, what happens? What did he just do? He just triggered a what type of event? He has to do what when you sell a house?
Pay taxes.
Uncle Sam's. So you triggered a taxable event.
Yeah.
Without going too deep into the tax code and everything, right? So this is how the rich say rich, you guys. You guys follow me. Every 2 years, you're going to upgrade your house, and you're going to rent out the one before it. Your debt's getting paid down, and the house is going up in value, right? You're going to go take what's called a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit. You're going to go take a HELOC off of that property because you do not pay taxes on money you borrow. You're paying interest, but you're borrowing your own money. And so now you've took out a HELOC on this property. So let's say that $150,000, I took out a loan, might be an extra $600, $700, $800 a month, depending on the interest rate, right? And now I use that as a down payment to go buy another house.
Yeah.
Now my renter is paying not only my mortgage on that property, they're also paying the HELOC. That debt, again, is continuing to be reset, right? Because I'm adding another $150 of debt. Yeah. But now the debt's continuing to be paid down. The property's still going up in value. And now I took that money tax-free away and bought another higher value property. And all you got to do is rinse and repeat this process every 2 years. And I'm telling you, in 10 years, you're going to have equity or a net worth of $1 million. It's a foolproof plan, I promise you, especially in today's age. It's not hard to be a millionaire.
Yeah, literally $1 million worth of game given on the Let's Talk Assets podcast. So if you guys didn't write that down, rewind this video, write that down, jot your notes, rinse and repeat, foolproof plan. Follow that. Like Gio said, you'll be a millionaire.
Yep. You guys will hear another wealth hack, a wealth secret you guys will hear for everyone that owns property or all you people that watching this podcast. I know that this stuff's going to inspire you guys to go into home ownership, but you refi until you die. And what I mean by that is you never sell a house. And you own a house, you want to tap into the equity, you either refinance or take a home equity line of credit on because you do not pay debt. Not pay taxes on debt.
Yep.
For example, I'll tell you, you want to know why? How does Elon Musk not pay taxes? He's one of the richest men in the world. And he's stupid rich, multi-billionaire. How does he not pay taxes? I'll give you guys his hat. Because he takes stock from his company, right?
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't take income, he takes stock, right? So that stock is a tangible asset, which you can go borrow.
Yeah.
He then go take the line of credit out from the stock that he owns. It's backed by the stock. It's a secured debt. And he doesn't pay taxes because it's borrowed money. He's borrowing his own money. He's borrowing assets.
Yep.
It's an asset class that in the stock, he's going to borrow money from it. And then that money he's going to spend, but he's not paying taxes on that money.
Yeah.
So again, you guys have to, this is why you guys acquire assets. When you guys acquire assets, these are things where, again, I'm not a CPA, but you go talk to your CPA or your trusted tax consultant, but these are ways where the tax code, it's positioned how you pay less taxes, but you tap into your equity, you tap into, the things that you've earned without paying that huge tax burden.
Yeah. Assets is one of your biggest tax shelters. As you guys start scaling up as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you're going to want to find tax shelters. Because I'll tell you this, Uncle Sam is your biggest op. At the end of the day, Uncle Sam is going to come and take that money from you if you're not finding tax shelters. One of the worst things is to be an entrepreneur on a W-9 type of check and, you don't have any tax write-offs. You don't have any tax shelters. Once you got to pay that bill to Uncle Sam, trust me, you're going to want to wish that you listened to us beforehand. But owning assets is one of the biggest tax shelters.
Absolutely. And like I said, that's why it's so important. Even in, like as a real estate agent, most real estate agents, they're 1099, not W-2, but 1099, you're taking in income and you're paying taxes on it. And at the end of the year, you're paying your own taxes. But rather than taking that income in as an individual, you take that income in as an LLC, which is a pass-through. But that entity now can participate in tax advantages that you as a person with your social security number cannot participate in. Because as an individual, you pay taxes on a W-2 job, and then you get to spend whatever's left. As a business, you make the money, you spend it, then you pay taxes on whatever's left over. That's why people that are entrepreneurs, and that's why the wealthy, that's why they pay less taxes. Is because they learn to expense. You have to follow the tax code. Again, as someone that's been in trouble with the law, that's the one people you do not want to get in bed with or not piss off is the IRS. It will ruin your entire life. So all my entrepreneurs out there, make sure you pay your taxes. Another big thing too is you got to be careful, right? This is one of the biggest challenges I face as an entrepreneur with taxes is I have a lot of things that are tax shelters that help me mitigate, my taxable income. But there's a catch-22 with that. Yeah, I'm paying less in taxes because I'm acquiring assets, depreciation, things like that. But the more I lower my taxable income, the less I'll qualify, for loans and stuff like that. So, hey, I may on paper, not make that much money, but it comes with a consequence. So guys, be careful. And then, you guys have to be reasonable about what you're writing off. If you're making $100,000 a year, you can't be writing off 80 grand worth of stuff. And you're going to get audited, and you're going to either owe back taxes or you'll go to jail. So again, guys, studying taxes is very important in business. I study a lot of books on it. I have a great accountant, and I sit down with them and keep an eye on that. It's very important in business. A lot of people fail in business because they forget about taxes. They think they're making all this money. Then when tax time comes around, especially when you first start, right? Because if you've never paid taxes, most people with W-2s
just automatically pay.
And automatically pay, and they're expecting a check back. It's different when you got to stroke tens of thousands of dollars to the IRS. It's a different type of feeling. And so always be cognizant of that as a big piece of advice I can get for all the early entrepreneurs out there. Make sure you understand what your tax direction or tax strategy is as an entrepreneur and your specific industry. Get professional advisement and go up there and scale.
100%.
Sure.
And guys, remember, the IRS, if we put that on one line, THEIRS, what does that spell? Theirs. That's what they're coming to do. If y'all pay those taxes, they're coming for what's theirs, and they will garnish your wages. You got to think, you can't hide from them. They have access to all your bank accounts. So please make sure your taxes are taken care of. Reach out to your local trusted tax advisor. They'll be able to give you further advice on either mitigating taxes, handling taxes, whatever. That's one thing we should do. We should actually have a tax advisor on to be able to answer the little complicated questions with tax.
Absolutely. I definitely got one in the hopper.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll definitely get someone high value up here, drop some dimes on us.
Yeah, I know the audience will be looking forward to that for sure.
No, absolutely.
Give the people, when I started this podcast, was being able to give the people access to high level information, broken down in a very simple way. I'm not a person who likes to speak a lot. I like to play behind the scenes, and I know, if you see my social medias or things like that, you may think, the opposite of me. I'm always kind of doing something on social media to limelight, things like that. But naturally, I'm not like that. I like to be reserved, just deal with the people that are my people. But I realize that I do have certain knowledge, know a lot of things that I would like to share with people. So my goal really when starting this was to give the people, like we said, free game, to teach them about assets, to teach them about productive things for themselves, for their families, for their business, entrepreneurship, and so on and so on. And then when they take this information, they can go spread it to their friends. I never was a person that liked people who gatekeep information. I want to give as much information out as possible to the people who are willing to listen, and then they can just take that and spread it. And then when they take that and spread it, now everybody's at a higher level.
Absolutely. I think I'm of the same mindset. I'm definitely in agreement with Chris. I feel blessed and honored to have a platform. I feel honored and humbled that people are even listening. Just to people taking the time out of their day to listen to what we have to say, the value we have to provide. That's what this is all about, is giving you guys value, giving you guys real tangible information. Look, we're rookies in this entrepreneurial life and in the grand scheme of things too. You guys, I'm telling you, stay tuned. The people we're going to be bringing through this studio, the value that they're going to give, not only us, you guys, and the world, the lessons that they've been through. They're a lot more seasoned than us. We're bringing some really high level, really special guests, elite business people, politicians, athletes, musicians, leaders in the community, all the people from all different walks of life. And if you guys have any special requests and guests, look, we have an extensive network. And look, I'm not afraid to reach out to anybody. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And so, with that being said, that's what this is all about. Let's talk assets. We're talking assets. We're giving you guys value. Passing on the information has helped us become successful. Sharing our social currency with you, tapping into our network, provided some of these high-level people that I've learned lessons from, that Chris has learned lessons from, putting them in front of you, asking them those poignant questions, getting that information out of them so you guys can take it, go pursue your dreams and crush and live the life you're meant to live.
Yep, big facts. And guys, if you found any helpful information with these podcasts, make sure that you share with a family member, a coworker, a friend, whoever. Share this helpful information with them. Don't hold all the information to yourself. You want to get it out to as many ears, as many eyes as possible, so they can take advantage of the helpful information and, it could change their life. You never know what's going to change some person's life. Just a little story, just a little snippet. One little thing can completely change the directions of a person's life. So don't be selfish. Don't hold out on the information. Make sure that you share it with everybody that you know really who could use some helpful information like that. And we're really here to give you guys a roadmap, a guide on things that we've experienced, things that we've been through. But also, like Gio said, we don't know it all. So we are going to bring on some high-level guests. And trust me, I'm not that big of a talker, but that means if I say something, it's going to happen. And Gio's in accordance with that. We're going to bring some very high-level people up here. And we can't wait for y'all to hear the special guest list that we have prepared for y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, one thing I want to encourage the audience, especially everyone who took the time to listen to our podcast, ask questions. Closed mouths don't get fed. We're not afraid of anything you have to ask us. We will answer it. Again, unscripted, unfiltered, here at Let's Talk Assets Podcast. We appreciate you guys for taking the time out of your evening to join us.
Let's Talk Assets.